Okay, you hardcore motherfuckers. Welcome back, welcome back. Don't you just love it how TNA has been really good lately? I like how TNA has been focusing and taking so much effort in their storytelling. And I think that's the reason why TNA has been doing very well. Their storylines have been so good, including their feuds. I don't really 100% agree on their booking, but fact of the matter is they're doing good, they're doing well, and that's what we all needed and wanted to see. I also am gonna say this right now. I am not a TNA fanboy. Okay, I am not going to agree with everything they do. Okay, if I see some bullshit in the company or something that I don't like, disagree on, I'm gonna fucking say it. Okay, I'm not gonna pretend to like everything they do or whatever. I'm not other people. You know what I mean? I'm just straight 100% say it how it is. Okay, but at the moment I don't really have anything to complain about. Okay, um, so as usual, we're gonna try to keep it short because I don't want to do the really long reviews. So you might notice that during some of the segments I skipped a few parts just so I don't go over it too long. Okay. Um, Alright, so show opens up with Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, Robbie Sky, and King Maxwell at their home, singing "I Fade Away." I classify myself as obsolete. And then you had Rabbi doing the piano playing, which she is so good at. And you also had King Maxwell that had like a little one, a little piano, a toy, where he was playing. They showed where he was playing too, but they played a sound that made it seem like he was playing. I thought that was really cute. I love how TNA is doing these short films and all of that. Like I said so many times, no other company does it better than TNA when it comes to this type of shit. Okay, no other company, not even Lucha Underground. All right, TNA does it better. Right, so they sing this the absolute song, and then you had Matt Hardy telling Jeff Hardy that they need to go to the Impact Zone, and then he also mentioned that there's gonna be a final deletion part two. So basically, what he said is that the match that they will have with DK is gonna happen. It's also gonna happen in North Carolina at their home. This is gonna be so fucking awesome. If the first one was so damn good, you can only imagine how much better this one is going to be, knowing that it's with two fucking freaks. I cannot fucking wait for this. So the rumors were fucking true. There's going to be a final deletion part 2. So the show starts with Maria and Mike Bennett coming out. So I'm gonna paraphrase a few stuff here. Mike Bennett says that the reason why the people say yes we do is because they believe in the miracle movement. The miracle movement was here to save TNA, and tonight I complete that mission when I become TNA World Heavyweight Champion. And he's going to become World Heavyweight Champion because he's the best pro wrestler on the planet. Again, you're going to need a miracle to be the best pro wrestler on the planet, because honestly there is no such thing as the best. Okay, we can say there is one of the best, but you can never say you're the best, as in the only one. It doesn't exist. But you get my point. I know you shouldn't take it serious, but you get my point. And then he says because he surrounds himself with successful people. So then, after saying a few things, he then asked Moose to come down the ring, but instead of Moose, you had Bobby Lashley coming out. Bobby Lashley tells Bennett that Moose doesn't want to have anything to do with him. And then he starts insulting Bennett and tells him that he knows, Lashley knows he can beat him. Then Mike says Lashley is too cocky for his own good and isn't confident enough to put his money where his mouth is. Lashley says tonight's main event can be a disqualification match because the only chance Bennett has in winning tonight's match is if he had Moose with him. So after those two went back and forth, then Moose finally comes out. So long story short, Moose comes out, talks on the microphone with so much intensity, which is freaking great. What also was great that the crowd was behind him with the whole Moose Moose catchphrase thing. So that's already a good sign that the crowd is behind him. Then Moose tells the two that he's gonna decide who's gonna win at the main event. And he also yells at Mike Bennett, telling him there was no we because he didn't forget what Mike Bennett did to him last week. So that was that first segment, which was great promo by Moose. Um, so then after that we had a match, Matt Hardy against Crazy Steve, and yeah, you pretty much already knew how this match was going to be. Of course, it wasn't a great match. I can't also say it was a good match. It was an okay match, because this is Crazy Steve. Although Crazy Steve has been more active, has been doing a lot more ever since they went with the whole he can't talk gimmick, hasn't he? Because before all of this before he started to talk, he rarely did anything, and he barely even got any TV time. So I'm glad that he finally does get some TV time and does a lot more. So this character literally helped him out. Okay, so that's a good thing. But yeah, the match was okay. It was a really entertaining match, really funny match. At the start, both started to bite each other. I mean, these are two crazy motherfuckers going at each other, so what can you expect? But Matt Hardy ultimately got the win. And after the match, Crazy Steve's on the microphone and says that decay is everywhere, even at the Hardy estate. And that King Maxwell doesn't belong to Rebby or Matt Hardy, but the baby King Maxwell is now Rosemary's baby. So you have Matt Hardy panicking and all of that, and tells Jeff Hardy, let's go. So that was that interesting, really freaking interesting, all of this, TNA is bound for glory ready, and I am going to buy that pay-per-view. My expectations for about this year's Bound for Glory are extremely high, like never before. That is how much faith I have in this year's Bound for Glory. And the reason why I say that is because I know all these build-ups have been so fucking good, which is why I just know this year's Bound for Glory is gonna be fucking lit. And if this year's Bound for Glory ain't gonna pop in, then I honestly don't know. But I know that it's gonna be a damn good, at least I hope so, we all hope so. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be, because they really took the time and take the effort to do things right, finally. And after that we had the Ultimate X match, a gauntlet match. So the first one in the rings were Trevor Lee, DJC. After that we had Andrew Everett and Mandrews. Then later on you had Spot and Sutter in the ring. I don't have to say much about this match. You already know that there's gonna be some high flying shit, that there's gonna be some great technician, some strong style, DJC, the guy himself. Rockstar Spot and Sutter still having this beef. I would like to suggest that TNA needs to start this feud between these two on TV. If it's not before Bound for Glory, at least after Bound for Glory. It's time to start this feud between Braxton Sutter and Rockstar Spot. That way, Braxton Sutter can finally get a lot more TV time as well. Okay, so I really want him to do that, and Sutter is a good wrestler. If you haven't watched him on the Indies, well, he is a good wrestler. And I think it's gonna be a really good feud, because Rockstar Spot is fucking good, man. Rockstar Spot. And I still feel like he's so underrated, still the underdog, and all of that. But this guy has really come a long way, this Rockstar Spot, hasn't he? With all the whole him being EC3's little bitch, Dixie Carter's lapdog, and all of that. It's so nice to see wrestlers and character develop in such a way to where they are now, which is good. They have become so good and have a lot more passion for the stuff that they do and all of that. And yeah, that is the thing with TNA. Chances are that a wrestler that hasn't been able to develop himself in other companies or whatever always managed to do that in TNA. Like, for an example, you can't disagree with me saying that Kurt Angle, his wrestling career was better than what he had in the WWE. Okay, or Gil Kings for that matter, or any other wrestler that has wrestled in WWE. Jeff Hardy, longer in TNA than he has in WWE. I would also say that his wrestling was way better in TNA than in WWE because he did a lot more fucked up shit in TNA than in WWE, that PG show. Okay, so but Andrew Everett did a move to Mandrews where Mandrews really hit his fucking face or his head. That was a botch right there. Mandrews botched 2 times. The move that he took from Andrew Everett, and when he tried to jump the ropes, but he slipped. That was a botch. He didn't do that purposely. That was a fucking botch. So that's definitely gonna be on Botchamania. But was a great match. This was a really good match, really entertaining match. But DJC ultimately got the win. Now I wanted to say something real quick about this. He also had a guy on Facebook telling me, "Why did they push DJC? Blah blah blah." Look, I don't know, man. I have no problem with DJC. DJC is a damn good freaking wrestler. Maybe they push him because they plan on making him TNA World Heavyweight Champion. I don't know, okay? I personally don't have any problem with it. Although I do want them to give the other guys a chance as well. Andrew Everett and Trevor Lee. TNA, I really don't like how TNA is treating and booking these 2 guys. TNA once again not realizing what they fucking have. These 2 are PWG fucking guys, and if you're someone like me that watches, buys Pro Wrestling Guerrillas DVD and see the guys wrestle in that company, then you will know how fucking good they are. And TNA isn't fucking making use of that. Just like past years when TNA had people like the Young Bucks, Alex Shelley, Amazing Red, Low Key, Okada. One didn't realize what they had there, and I feel like they're doing the same thing once again, but this time with Andrew Everett and Trevor Lee. So I really would like TNA to push these guys or book these guys in a better way for them not to come off as some tweener or whatever how you call it, because these guys can fucking go. Okay, so that's actually the only complaint I have. And as far as the X division itself goes, it would seem like TNA is really doing something with the X division, but I honestly still have to disagree because I still feel like TNA isn't really, going above their limit with the X division. I still feel like they're not taking the X division too serious. I can understand that. You need to understand that you can't give everybody a push at once. This thing works with turns, so when you get pissed off that your favorite wrestler didn't get the win or doesn't get a push, just wait for a second, okay? Just hold on. Not everybody can get a push at the same time, So, yeah, but the X Division, they really need to focus a lot more on that, because then they keep saying it that the X Division built the company and this and that, but then again they don't really do it and focus on that division, which is why now WWE, those motherfuckers, those greedy ass pieces of shit, have this thing called the cruiserweight, whatever you call it. I don't watch it, but they literally that is literally a ripoff of TNA's Ultimate X, if you ask me. So TNA needs to really step it up with this division, and also needs to bring on maybe just a few more cruiserweights from the indies, not WWE X wrestlers, okay? But that's basically what I want to say. But this was a great match. DJC got the win. Oh yeah, I also wanted to say that if these wrestlers cash in, why not let them win? Because if you're gonna have these wrestlers win the X Division champion and let them cash in and not win, then honestly, what's the fucking point in this whole cashing in thing? For once, let them win, give them a chance. They did it with Chris Sabin a few years ago and that, but then noticed that Chris Sabin isn't really World Championship main event material. I think they can do that again, give it a try, let's see if it works out. If it doesn't, well, then give someone else the shot. But Don't let these guys win the title, and when they cash in, they don't win. Then, honestly, what is the fucking point? Not because they are X Division guys, then that should mean they should stay in that card. Give them a shot for once. Even if it's a run for just a month. Just let them hold that title. Let them know what it feels like. Let them shine for a little bit. Just see how it works out. That's all. But don't let them stay in that X Division card because they're cruiserweights or because they're X Division wrestlers. They can do a lot more. They can be main event guys. Okay, so DJC winning this title, I don't know if they are gonna go with him cashing in at Bound for Glory. If they are gonna let him cash in at Bound for Glory, and chances are small that he might become TNA World Heavyweight Champion. If he cashes in, if they're gonna go with him cashing in before Bound for Glory, then you already know that he's not gonna win it. He's not gonna win it. If it's going to happen before Bound for Glory, if it's gonna be at Bound for Glory, then chances are there's still a little tiny pinky hope that he might become, but I still doubt it. But I would really love it if they do make him champion, because he's been in the company for so long. He said it himself. He had so many issues. He worked so really hard. So I don't know, but we'll have to see. But it was a good match. So after that we get an in-ring segment. I'm gonna keep this one really short, which it was a short one anyways, with Drew Galloway. So Drew Galloway explaining why he did what he did last week to Aaron Rex, and so basically he blames the crowd because they turned his back on him, and because they were clapping for Aaron Rex instead of Drew Galloway. And then he says he had to teach Aaron a lesson, and if he sees Aaron Rex, and if he sees him again, he's going to put him in the bloody hospital. So as you know, Drew Galloway is officially a heel now, which means a lot more intensity and a lot more aggressiveness in his wrestling. It should be good. And then later on, and then sooner, a few minutes later, Billy Corgan comes out. Billy tells him that he has considered suspending him without pay, but a little birdie tell him not to do that. And then he says it wasn't Dixie Carter. Then Aaron Rex comes out, and Aaron Rex says that he was the one that didn't want him suspended because he wants to do it his way. And then he runs up to Joe Galloway, and the two start to brawl. So this is officially the start of a feud between these two, and I hope it will lead up to them wrestling. Hopefully at Bound for Glory, because that way it's gonna be special, and that way they have they are forced to give it their all. So let's hope it really does. It seems like it goes that way because although Aaron did say that he wasn't really planning on wrestling, but who knows? So yeah, who knows? So let's hope it really goes that way. Okay, guys. After that, we have Eli Drake versus EC3. If you're someone that has been watching my reviews for quite some time, and then I'm not an EC3 fan, and I still am not an EC3 fan, but I have really been giving this guy so much credit lately, and I'm gonna give him credit once again. He has really become so damn good with his wrestling that I actually enjoy him now. Still not a fan of the guy because he's not really my style, you know what I'm saying? But I have been enjoying him recently because he's really been working on his wrestling, and that is good, and that's exactly what I was saying a few minutes ago about it's good seeing wrestlers getting better, developing their skills and all of that. It's really fun to watch. So yeah, it was a good match. Obviously EC3 was the one that carried the match the most, and EC3 got the win. Eli Drake needs to work on his wrestling as well, so let's hope it becomes the same case with him, where he later on gets a lot better, because this guy is to me the #1 guy in TNA that is the best promo cutter. Period. I think you can put Rockstar Spot on second place and then EC3 on the third. But yeah, it was a good match. It was a really good match, though. Good on EC3. EC3 is getting really better. So after that we have a little segment with Rabbi Maxwell with Rebby and Maxwell. So where Matt Hardy later on there were already two of these segments though, where Matt tried to call Rebecca Rebby. So she tells him that she's in the room with Maxwell. She's gonna take him and go into the safe room, and then we see Rosemary appear. So then they are in the safe room, and then someone opens the door, and we see that it's Senior Benjamin. And then Rebby gives King Maxwell to Senior Benjamin to hold him, and then Rebby says she's gonna go after that bitch herself. Just love these short films. This is like a fucking thriller movie or a horror movie. It was really good. Alright, and after that we have Allie's celebration, or in this case not so much of an Allie celebration. So after Allie thanked everyone, Maria and Sienna came out. Maria tells Sienna that she needs to take the night off because obviously Sienna was all pissed off and all of that shit. How can you do this to me? Blah blah blah. Maria tells Sienna, take the night off, go to the back, I got this. Maria tells Ellie that the celebration was not for her. Again, I'm keeping this one really short. Maria tells her that the celebration wasn't for her. Then that Ellie messes up everything. And then Maria tells Ellie to lay on the ground, and you already knew where this was going. So Maria calls down a ref to come in the ring. She goes for the count. 1, 2, 3. Maria becomes TNA Knockouts champion, which is the most ridiculous fucking thing I've seen in my life. I'm gonna be really honest with you. I honestly did not expect this to happen. I really didn't think this was gonna go this way. I really thought that they were gonna go with Ellie being champion, hoping that her character would get more serious and do some actual wrestling. I honestly didn't. I was actually shocked that this is how things went down. But of course we should have seen it coming, But I actually felt sad for Ellie, to be honest. Like, come on, man. She's such a fucking cute girl. But yeah, I had no idea this is how it went down. So this is so fucking ridiculous. I can't stand Maria. She's obviously good on the microphone, But there are a few ways this thing can turn out to be. One, or they could go once again with Gail Kim trying to get her to wrestle, and Gail Kim winning the champion. Again, if you've been watching my reviews, then you would know that I've said a couple of times that at this point I don't want Gail Kim to be champion at the moment. Like, she needs to take a break from the away from the title picture. Let the other lady shine for a bit. You know what I'm saying? But if they do go with that angle and Gail Kim wins the champion, then at the same time I understand, because then it would be a case of her being tied with Angelina Love's reign, which is 6 time if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. Or 2, it could be that Sienna, there is some tension between her and Sienna, which obviously there will be, and that Sienna wants to face her and I get the champion since she was originally the champion. Or 3, either Jade or Marty Bell would want to face Maria, or we're gonna get another type of battle royal or number 1 contenders match. So this is really fucking confusing. We're just gonna have to wait and see how this whole thing plays out. But I'm pretty sure that Gail Kim is gonna be involved, because this thing between her and Gail Kim still isn't over, this beef they have. And I've been saying this also, I've also said this a few times, it's gonna have to come to a point where Maria really is going to have to wrestle. Even if it's a really shitty match, she just has to going to wrestle. Sooner or later. I had another suggestion. Marty Bell. I think she's the only one that hasn't held the title yet, including Rebel. But I honestly don't think they're gonna do a lot with Rebel, which is sad. And the reason why I say it's sad is because they're obviously using her as a jobber or as a filler. But it's sad because maybe she's trying so hard to become better, and all of that, and they're not giving her the shot, and that's really sad, to be honest, and it's really unfair. you know. So, but I don't see them do much with Rebel. To be honest, don't be surprised if she gets released sooner or later. But Marty Bell, I would suggest they should put the title on her for a while, for maybe a month, just to see how she does. Because I've said it a couple of times as well, Marty Bell isn't really someone you should expect a lot from in terms of as far as her wrestling goes. You know, she doesn't really do epic stuff or too much amazing stuff. She's just an average wrestler and always has been. Although I have been giving her credit for the 2 past weeks because she did impressed me a little bit more when she had a match with Jade in the street fight and another match which I think it was last week's match. But she should put the title on her. Let's see what happens because sometimes when you put the title on a wrestler, they get a lot more motivation because you know sometimes the title gets them to do a lot more, which they have to because they're champion. Because if you're champion, you get championship money, so you're gonna have to do a lot more. And that's basically what I wanted to do: put the title on Marty Bell. Let's see if she's gonna do a lot more. Let's see if she's gonna push herself a lot more to show us a lot more on what she can do. But again, we're gonna have to see how this whole thing freaking plays out. See how all of this is so fucking amazing. So the storylines, you know, that it just makes you look forward for next week's show. You know, everything is in place. Everything makes sense. You know. So that was that. After that, we have another one of those Rebby segments, that horror scene. So they show Rebby going after Rosemary. Rosemary goes away every time, like a freaking vampire, really fast, and all of that. So then Rebby goes outside to see if she's outside, but then we see Rosemary on the balcony, and then she throws the baby downstairs, down the ground, to the ground, onto the ground. Oh, motherfucker! See, this is one of the fucked up things when you're a foreigner. You fucking trip over English words. She threw the baby down, thinking it was the baby. That obviously it wasn't. It was the plastic one that Rebby used in the first final deletion when she threw it at Jeff Hardy. It was that same doll. And then Rosemary goes away again, escapes again, and then later on she tells Senior Benjamin that she needs to prepare the battlefield for Massacre. Oh boy, it's coming. And I believe it's next week, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know, but I'm just fucking looking for it. This is going to be fucking awesome. TNA, you fucking rock my world right fucking now. Okay? So, then we have the main event, Lashley versus Mike Bennett, which was a good match. It was a good match. Obviously, Bobby Lashley was the stronger guy, Mike Bennett the faster guy, but Moose was at ringside. Moose didn't do anything. He didn't help Bennett nor Lashley. Maria was more the one that did the things, hitting Lashley with the title, going in the ring, stopping him, and all of that. But sadly, ultimately, Lashley got the win, actually by distraction, because when Mike Bennett asked Moose for the pipe or whatever it was, Moose didn't gave him the pipe, and Moose like backed away. So Mike Bennett was acting all pissed. How can you do this? Give me the pipe, blah blah blah. Mike turns around, gets the spear from Lashley. 1, 2, 3. They are so totally burying this guy. Holy shit. I don't know when they're really gonna give this guy a proper push or give him the title, but right now they are fucking burying this guy. So after the match, Mike Bennett calls Moose into the ring and starts to insult him, and then says if Moose does it again, does what he did one more time, he's gonna make sure Moose never wrestles again. And then he slaps Moose, and then of course Moose gets all pissed off, and then he clotheslines Mike Bennett, and that's how the show ended. So I'm guessing Moose is officially not collaborating with Bennett anymore and is a babyface, I think. looks like it. So this is the highest rating I'm gonna give this show. 9 out of 10. I am so looking forward to next week's show. It was a good show. I enjoyed it. I know you enjoyed it. And that's about it, man. TNA is fucking doing really good right now. And I saw a tweet from Gregory Hamswell. He said, if you're not watching Impact Wrestling because of past shits and all of that, you're missing out. And I absolutely fucking agree. You need to fucking get over it. Leave that shit that TNA was in the past, in the fucking past. Just leave it behind. Okay, you need to focus on the now. Watch it now. Alright? They are trying really hard. Billy Corgan is trying really hard to put the company on the map. And he's doing that. And they already did that, especially with this whole Brother Nero thing. Because that's honestly where it started, let's be honest. That is what got a lot of people their attention, this whole Final Deletion thing. And Final Deletion 2, Massacre. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you watched all the way till the end. Like, subscribe, share. I don't know what the motherfucker you wanna do. But see you next week. Greet